Everybody knows that a fast bike is a quiet one, and no one knows this better than a lot of the pros. When you watch the Downhill World Cup, the bikes are absolutely silent and they're flawless. So here's our guide on how to make your bike silent. The first things first, you want to identify where that noise is coming around. So bang the bike around a bit, really shake it up, find out if it's the cables, if it's the chain, if there's some loose bolts, just find out where the noise is coming from, and we'll get to what we're going to change in a second. So from clanging it around and banging it off the ground, I've noticed that the cables are rubbing off each other and making just that kind of a little annoying noise. Whilst it's really neatly routed on this Scott Genius LT, I'm just going to put one zip tie around there, neaten 4 of these cables up, and hopefully that'll stop them and eliminate them banging off each other and make it quieter. Working my way down the bike, just check that all the bolts are tight. You can actually find that if one of these is loose or the bushings are worn, bearings are worn, etc., things like the pedals as well, they can make a lot of noise, so just check them out. This is a brand new bike, everything's tightened, it's been torqued, so that's not going to be a problem for me. Suspension likewise can create quite a lot of noise as well, especially if you've not got it set up correctly. We've actually got an in-depth video on sec-maint-mon, so check that one out if you haven't already. But things like if it's needing a service or something like that, you actually find that it might be topping out, rebounding really harshly, skipping around the trail. You actually find that that makes a lot of noise and it can be quite distracting when you're riding. Tires as well can actually have a big effect on how noisy or how quiet your bike is. If you've got them absolutely rock hard, they're not going to be doing their job and gripping to the ground. They're not going to have that dampening effect of when you hit a bump, they sort of mold around that bump. They're actually going to be bouncing off, you're going to be skipping on the trail. It can create quite a weird noise as well, so just check that you have got your tyre pressure set correctly for your weight. The rear derailleur can have a massive impact on how much noise actually comes up onto the chainstays. So the rear mech just moves up like that, it slackens off the chain, but on these newer mechs you can actually find that you can actually fully adjust how tight that clutch is and how much movement there's going to be. But just be careful, if you are adjusting it, you don't want to make it too tight, because it actually have a downwards effect on the suspension and how it works. You'll probably find that most of the noise from your chain is actually when it comes down and it hits on the chainstay just like that. And that noise, it really does my head in, to be honest. A lot of new bikes these days are coming with this chainstay protector or a similar type of thing. It's got this really soft piece on top, and when the chain hits that, it just really dampens noise. So with this Scott, I can just pop it on like that, and all it takes is a couple of zip ties and it just finishes off the chainstay nicely. Although I've got this really nice finishing chainstay protector from Scott, there's a couple of little points that it misses, and apart from anything, it's going to damage and cause a little bit of noise. So I'm going to use this slapper tape, as endorsed by a lot of the pros, especially Greg Menard. It's like a double-sided tape almost, but with a rubbery feel. So I'm just going to cut up a couple of slices, and just going to pop it where the noise is. One final pro tip is that you could use that soft-sided Velcro. You could alternatively use that here, or if you're finding that your cables are actually hitting off the frame, making a bit of noise, you could just put that, and that'll also protect it from cable rub. Anyway, for more great videos on GMBN, why don't you click just up there and you'll get to our full mechanical playlist. Alternatively, you can click down there and you'll get to our how-to playlist. As ever though, don't forget to click right in the middle to subscribe. It's absolutely free and you get a great video every day of the week.
Sweet!